If you're not vegan, you cannot claim to be against animal cruelty because you are, in fact, funding animal cruelty all day, every day, for every single non-vegan product you consume. Animals are being abused and killed. So, yeah, you cannot claim to be an animal lover if you're not vegan. And you don't have to be an animal lover to understand that you need to be vegan. You just have to understand that it's wrong to abuse animals. So that story of that cat, Brandy, that got beat to death with a baseball bat by those two teenage punks. The whole world is outraged over that story. That story made world news. And tens of thousands of people are signing the petition for Brandy to make sure those boys get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But then it's interesting that most of these same people who are outraged when they hear about two punks beating a 17-year-old cat to death with a baseball bat, they turn around and they pay people to chop the heads off of pigs and cows and chickens like every few hours of every day. And they clearly understand what those two punks did to that cat is wrong, but for some reason they can't understand that what they're doing to the pigs for their bacon, what they're doing to the cows for their steak, what they're doing to chickens for their nuggets is just as horrendous. Because these animals suffer for months before they're forced screaming into a slaughterhouse and hacked to pieces. And these animals are literally treated like shit for their whole entire brief existence on this planet. These animals are treated like shit. They're forced to live in shit. Also, you can spend a few minutes feasting on their flesh, and then you literally turn them into shit, and you flush them down the toilet. So, yeah, you can't claim to be an animal lover if you're not vegan. You can't claim that you're against animal abuse when you literally pay people to abuse animals all day long. Like right now, there are animals being abused, being neglected, being forced screaming into slaughterhouses because you want to consume animal products, because you refuse to go vegan, even though it's very, very easy to go vegan. It's never been easier. The grocery stores are filled with vegan options. All fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds are vegan. The stores are filled with all kinds of plant-based burgers, even plant-based chicken nuggets, because they taste great. After that, slaughtered gore is doused with herbs and spices. Yeah, if it wasn't for the herbs and spices, that slaughtered gore wouldn't be so tasty. Herbs and spices are vegan, in case you don't know. Like KFC's secret recipe, it consists of 11 herbs and spices. It's not that rotting chicken carcass that's so tasty. It's actually the 11 herbs and spices it's seasoned with. So yeah, believe it or not, vegan food tastes just as good, if not better. And it's much healthier for you. And no animals have to suffer and die for it. Well, it's sad that you have the right to take the lives of innocent creatures over your food preferences. You shouldn't have that right. And I would take that right away from you in an instant if I could. Your right to have innocent creatures executed over your food preferences. I would absolutely take that right from you if I could. Because no, innocent creatures do not deserve a death sentence over your food preferences. And you're giving these innocent creatures a death sentence every few hours. Because, I'm sure every morning, every afternoon, every evening, you are consuming animal products. And even dairy products, even eggs come from extreme animal cruelty. Yeah, because those dairy cows, they have to be pregnant before they will start to lactate. They are forcibly impregnated. Within hours of those dairy cows giving birth, their babies are taken from them. And the dairy farmers will lie and say that they have to take those babies from their mothers. You know, it's for the benefit of the baby. But how is it for the benefit of the baby when those babies, if they're boys, all end up dead and butchered within months of being born? They lie through their freaking teeth. They do not take those little cats from their mothers upon being born because it's in the best interest of those calves. They take those babies off of those dairy cows because they want to rob them of their milk and sell that stolen milk to you. And they don't want the mother to bond with the baby, especially since all the boys are going to be sold off to the veal industry or the beef industry. I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie. The animal abusers are the ones who are lying. They have every reason to lie. Their whole livelihood relies on consumers remaining ignorant to what they're doing. So they don't want you to know the truth. The only reason why they take those babies off those dairy cows is so they can steal the food that belongs to those babies and sell it to you for profit. Yeah, nobody should be farming anybody. That's disgusting. Imagine farming humans. Like imagine. I mean, all you have to do to determine if something is right or wrong is determine if you want that same thing done to you. If you want that same thing done to your species, or if, even a dog or cat. Most people have a problem with people eating dog meat, with people eating cat meat. Like if I was right here to slaughter a dog and cook that dog up and just, sit here while I'm doing my live stream and just, eat that dog like you eat a pig, like you eat a cow, most of you would be outraged. You'd be reporting me for animal cruelty. You'd be reporting me for animal cruelty if I slaughtered a dog, cooked that dog up, and ate that dog for dinner. You'd all be reporting me for animal cruelty. But then here you go and you do the same thing to a pig, to a chicken, to a cow, to a fish, that you would be outraged if somebody did to a dog or a cat. You're a hypocrite, and you can't even put two and two together. You can't even see the truth that's like right in front of your face, that this is animal cruelty, and people deny it. How can you deny reality? It's just mind-blowing to me that people deny that this is animal abuse. Confining an animal in a shit-filled shed for 6 months in such filth, they have to be given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick, and doing this for the sinister purpose of forcing them into a slaughterhouse at 6 months old when they can live over 10 years, to hack them to pieces so people can eat them and literally turn them into shit. And then people, oh no, that's not animal abuse. They're killed humanely. Yeah, as if there's a humane way to rob someone, as if there's a humane way to rape someone. Oh yeah. Because you think there's a humane way to kill somebody because you want to eat them, so. Yeah, people make no sense. Make no sense. You don't make no sense. You make no sense. Yeah, if you care about plant life, you absolutely need to go vegan, because more plants are killed to fatten the animals whose flesh and secretions you consume. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. An acre of land is slashed and burned every second of every day, and it is mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. So yeah, if you truly care about plants, you need to go vegan. And not only should you go vegan, you should become a fruitarian, because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, or seeds. My makeup is absolutely vegan. Vegan and not tested on animals. Yeah, so I really don't even understand it, because even if you don't give a shit whether animals are being abused or not, the fact that these animals most of these animals being raised for their flesh and secretions are literally kept in such filth. I mean, look at this. They have to be given antibiotics because they're kept in such filth. And then you put the body parts of these animals in your mouth after they literally marinate in shit. And then people pride themselves on being clean. And this is where your food is coming from. A literal shit-filled shed. It's just weird. It's just weird. And then people just want to continue to fight against doing the rational, decent, humane thing. That's the humane thing to do, is to go vegan. If it's not vegan, it is inhumane. If it is not vegan, it is animal cruelty. So, you're just lying to yourself. If you honestly believe that, you consuming animal products isn't animal cruelty, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. I went vegan because I couldn't lie to myself. I could clearly see once, I became aware of the conditions these animals are kept in. There's a frog out there. So yeah, I went vegan as soon as I became aware of what was really happening to these animals, and that I was the cause of these animals being forced into slaughterhouses. And that I was the reason why little male chicks in the egg industry are being ground up alive. That's why I went vegan, because I didn't want to be the reason why little male chicks are ground up alive. At the hatcheries where all egg-laying hens come from, they cannot determine the sex of the chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they grind them up alive because they have no use for them. And the egg-laying hens themselves are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. And bacon causes cancer. Bacon causes cancer. It causes cancer. It should be illegal. It should be child abuse to feed your child bacon. Seriously, because it's like, it would be like giving your child cigarettes. Bacon is just as carcinogenic as smoking cigarettes. So if you think it would be child abuse for a parent to give their child cigarettes to smoke, if you would agree that that is child abuse for a parent to give their child, especially a 7, 8-year-old, 9, 10-year-old child, cigarettes to smoke, yeah, you should also understand that it's child abuse to feed them carcinogenic crap, which is like basically all animal products are carcinogenic. Yes, they increase your risk of cancer. A whole foods plant-based diet not only significantly decreases your risk of cancer, it can even help fight cancer if you have it. And that is not coming from me, that's coming from the American Institute for Cancer Research. Yeah, I care about the animals. I care about the victims. That's why I'm vegan, and that's why I speak up for them. Maybe you don't care, but you cannot speak for everybody. Every day, thousands of people go vegan, and a lot more people would be going vegan if, the truth was able to reach more people. If the videos that us vegans post, if these videos would all go viral, if somebody could shake their ass and, get 5 million views, I don't understand why us vegans, when we make a post exposing the truth about what's happening in the animal agriculture industry, I don't understand why our videos don't go viral. No, because the ones that turn away from veganism, they were never vegan in the first place. They were never vegan in the first place. They were plant-based. Nobody ever, I understand it's wrong to be racist. I understand it's wrong to discriminate against people of other races. So yeah, I'm anti-racist and I'm going to march and protest, injustices happening against other races. Oh, but then one day, oh no, I think I'm just going to go back to being a racist. I think I'm just going to go back to being a racist. Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. You see, these people who claim to be ex-vegan, they were never vegan in the first place because they clearly have no clue what veganism is about. Veganism is not about a diet. It's about a stand against injustice. It's about taking a stand against animal cruelty. Like when I say I'm against animal cruelty, I mean it. That is why I'm vegan. So I would never consume animal products again because I am a true vegan. And there is no health condition that requires anyone to consume rotting animal carcasses. Yeah, that is what that meat actually is. Because once that animal's stabbed in their throat, yeah, once they're dead, the decaying process starts. And all refrigeration does is slow the decaying process. But that animal carcass is still decaying. So you're literally eating a decaying animal carcass. Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would think that that's a health food. Meat, dairy, and eggs are the most acidic and inflammatory foods of all. They are loaded with artery clogging fats and cholesterol that clog up your arteries, increasing your risk of heart attacks and strokes, increase your risk of cancer, increase your risk of kidney disease. Most of the health issues people have, they have because they're eating these diseased animals and their secretions. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, why would somebody want to become a plant rights activist, but you have no interest in being an animal rights activist? Like animals, literally, we are animals, so we kind of like, we all have brains and emotions and personalities, whereas plants don't have a brain, they don't have a personality, they do not have emotions, but you want to defend plants. Why is that? Because you can relate to them better? Really? Yeah. That's probably the reason why. Because you can relate to the plants that don't have a brain, don't have any personality, don't have any emotions. You can relate to them a lot better than you can relate to these animals. That's why you have no interest in defending these animals, but you want to come to the defense of plants. But again, yeah, even if a plant did have a brain, a personality, emotions, that's an argument for veganism because more plants are killed to fatten up livestock. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So yeah, if you actually do care about plants, you'd go vegan. And then, take it even a step further and become a fruitarian because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, and seeds. Do you realize you don't have to use animal shit for fertilizer? Oh my God. Human waste can be and is. It can be and it is used as fertilizer. And compost, that I use compost for my plants that I grow. And anytime every 2, 3, 4 months, I end up coming across a dead rabbit or a dead squirrel, and I bury them in my yard. I don't use them as fertilizer, but that's what happens to them when you bury them. Yeah. So, no, what's weird is that you literally support an industry that sexually abuses animals to force them to reproduce, to take their babies, mutilate those babies, force those babies to live in overcrowded shit-filled dungeons, force these babies screaming into a slaughterhouse. So you just spend a few minutes feasting on their flesh and literally turn them into shit and flush them down the toilet. That's weird. That's weird. And, since this and most people are unaware. And then, you know, the people that are made aware, you know, a lot of people still deny it because denial is a defense mechanism people use when they don't want to face reality. So yeah, I'll just keep on going over this again and again and again until it starts sinking into people's heads that, yeah, they need to go vegan, because if you're not vegan, you're funding bestiality and the sexual abuse of animals. Oh, so you're perfectly fine with people sexually abusing animals, really? Would you do this to this animal? Since you don't care, since you don't see anything wrong with it, since it's no big deal to you, would you grab this animal's penis and masturbate them yourself? Would you do that? And this is not breeding, okay? This is sexually assaulting. These animals are being sexually assaulted. That's how they breed. Yeah, they call it breeding, but I mean, would you call it breeding if they were doing this to a human for the sinister purpose of stealing their child and massacring them? Yeah, see, that's just creepy. That's just creepy. Oh, yeah, I would definitely do that. Yeah, well, children need to be kept away from you. Seriously, because, like, if you actually see nothing wrong with this, you need to stay away from children. Because, yeah, I can only imagine what somebody who thinks this is okay, you know, is capable of doing. I mean, if you think that this is okay to do to an animal, you see nothing wrong with this, I could only imagine how far you would take that. Yeah, well, you know, just do a search. You know, in my own freaking neighborhood, there are 3 convicted child molesters. 3. That's just the ones that are convicted. It's disgusting. Yeah, so I'm sure those people, you know, they don't have any problem with this either. Yeah, so for those people who are decent, rational human beings, they go vegan when they learn the truth. The only people that would continue to support this industry once they know, once it sinks into your head. Now, I understand at first you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? It's crazy. This can't be happening. But it is. And once it, you know, dawns on you like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you need to go vegan, because if you're not vegan, you are in fact funding bestiality and the sexual abuse of animals. That should be a crime. You should be in jail for that. Yeah, the bees are dying because you eat animals. Yeah, bees are dying over GMOs. I don't consume GMOs. The bees are being killed over GMOs. Most of the genetically modified corn and the genetically modified soy is fed to livestock. Those crops are genetically modified so that they can be sprayed with Monsanto's Roundup. So that all of the non-GMO plants that shit is sprayed on die. Those non-GMO plants that are being sprayed with Monsanto's Roundup happen to be butterfly host plants like milkweed. Because, you know, like the milkweed is poisonous to cattle. And when it gets mixed in, like when they're processing the crops for hay, yeah, that adds moisture, which causes mold growth. So yeah, they want to kill off the milkweed. So yeah, you're responsible for the demise of the monarch butterflies when you're, you know, consuming animal products. You're the one responsible for the demise of the bees, because those other plants that are being killed by Roundup actually are nectar sources for the bees and the butterflies. So yeah, you're killing off the bees and the butterflies by not being vegan, because the animal products that you consume come from animals that are fed genetically modified corn and genetically modified soy, which is sprayed with Roundup, which kills off all the milkweed and all the other non-GMO plants that happen to be food sources for the bees and the butterflies. So get your story straight. Yeah, hunting deer, yeah, you might as well just go out. It's like it's no different than serial killing. I'm not a speciesist. I'm not a human supremacist. I see no difference because there is no difference. Somebody going out into the woods and gunning down humans, same thing as somebody going out in the woods and gunning down animals. Maybe legally there's a difference, but morally there is no difference. It's the same cruel and violent act of taking someone's life from them. It's disgusting and it's evil and it should be illegal. And don't even tell me you're pro-life if you hunt. That's just some twisted shit right there. Oh, I'm pro-life. I'm going to hunt today. I'm going to kill myself some animals today. But I'm pro-life, but I like to take life. So fun to take life away from animals. But I love God. Yeah, but I love killing his animals. I love killing his creations. Yeah, you're destroying everything God created. You're God's enemy. If you're not vegan and you're literally funding bestiality, which is a major sin, look at what the punishment for bestiality should be according to your Bible. And I think it should really be the punishment. People don't want to wise up and do the right thing. Oh, if you understand it's wrong to molest a child, why can't you understand that it's also wrong to molest an animal? Especially when it's for the sinister purpose of getting them to reproduce so their babies can be hacked to pieces so you can shove their body parts in your mouth. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. I'm not the one paying people to sexually abuse animals and massacre their babies and then come on to a vegan's live stream and act like she's the crazy one. And say, oh, you need to be banned, vegan, for defending these animals. You need to be banned. No, that's disrespectful. But what do you expect from an animal abuser? You don't have room to say anything if you're not vegan. You are literally funding animal cruelty, and some of you are directly doing this yourselves because tons of people in the farming industry, the flesh farming industry here, oh, I do that every day. That's how I make my living. That's not bestiality. That's not sexual assault. That's called artificial insemination. We got to collect that semen from those animals to artificially inseminate the females to make the babies that were raised for the flesh. Yeah. No, you're the one mad. You're the one on my live stream. Yeah, well, you need to stop farming animals for their flesh. I mean, just imagine if these were humans that were being bred against their will for the sick purpose of having their babies stolen and hacked to pieces. Then you'd understand, I would hope, that, that's pretty atrocious behavior, doing that to someone. Sexually abusing someone, stealing their babies from them, slaughtering their babies. But, oh, these aren't humans, so who cares? They're not humans, so who cares? Thanks for that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, we're supposed to be living in a civilized society. A civilized society. There's nothing civilized about this. There's nothing civilized about grabbing an animal's penis and masturbating them. and stealing their semen and forcing it into the vaginas of unconsenting female animals for the evil purpose of getting them pregnant, to steal their babies, to torture and mutilate those babies, force those babies to live in a shit-filled dungeon for months, to then force them screaming into a slaughterhouse just so people can eat their flesh and give themselves colon cancer and heart attacks and strokes, all the while destroying the planet in the process, because to produce animal products, destroying the forest. Destroying the forest. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. Every single second, an acre of land is slashed and burned, and it is mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of water depletion, water pollution, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. A billion people right now starving because food they could eat is being used to fatten livestock so privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. No, you get over yourself. No innocent animal should be sexually abused for your food preferences. No innocent animal should be given a death sentence in a slaughterhouse for your food preferences. But this happens all day, every day, for every single non-vegan product you consume. Every day. Probably like every 4 or 5 hours. You're literally having an innocent creature executed over your food preferences. And I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about facts. It's a fact. It is a fact that animals are being sexually abused to force them to reproduce. It's a fact that their babies are being slaughtered over your food preferences, when you could very easily be vegan and just choose a plant-based alternative that's much healthier, much more environmentally sustainable, and nobody has to lose their life. Animals love to be, they love to be alive. Not to be, I hope you're not talking about this, because that's just creepy. That's just creepy that you would come on this live stream and defend bestiality, defend the sexual abuse of animals. Bacon causes cancer. Bacon causes cancer. Just remember that. Just remember that. And remember that a plant-based diet helps prevent cancer and can even help fight it. Oh, talk about golf. Yeah, golf courses should be banned too. Another thing that destroys the frickin' earth. Yeah, so meat should be banned. Dairy should be banned. Eggs should be banned. Seafood should be banned. Leather should be banned. Animal testing should be banned. Circuses should be banned. Golf courses should be banned. Hunting should be banned. Fishing should be banned. Grass should be banned. Yeah, everybody should have to plant native plants and butterfly host plants and nectar plants for the butterflies and bees and edible plants. And get rid of that stupid, useless lawn that everybody sprays with chemicals and pesticides and herbicides, and they get out their lawn mowers and their weed whackers and their leaf blowers, causing all kinds of environmental destruction too. Oh, yeah, that hurts coming from an animal abuser. Oh. I drive a car that I bought back in 2010, which is a 2007, which has like 70,000 miles on it. And yeah, slaughterhouses don't exist to make cars, so yeah, I don't know what your point is. Slaughterhouses don't exist to make cars, so I don't know what your point is. Animals are not being tortured and killed to make a car. And do you drive a car? You literally pay people. Like I said, my car was bought back in 2010. And it was a 2007. And right now it has just over 70,000 miles on it. Yeah, I would ride my bike to work, but it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous, and there's too many lizards on the sidewalk. So, yeah, I would love to just ride my bike to work, but then I would be running over lizards or, you know, getting hit by a car. Yeah, well, I don't want to run over lizards, so yeah. It would take me forever to get to work because I would have to keep stopping like every freaking 10 feet. Because I live in Florida and there's literally lizards all over the place. Now, I can tell you one thing. The lizards aren't running out in the street. I actually only seen that happen one time. I did see a lizard run out into the highway. Literally ran out into the highway. And was dodging all of these cars. I couldn't believe it. They actually have a brain and they know how to use it, because I'm telling you, that lizard knew. He was calculating. He was calculating how fast those cars were coming. And he's literally running underneath these cars that are, you know, flying down the highway. 6 lanes of traffic. He ran all the way out to the median, like he was going to go completely across the highway. But then he turned around and came right back. But he kept stopping and going back and forth, going underneath cars going like 60 miles an hour. And he survived. He must have dodged like, that lizard must have dodged like 40 cars and lived. And I had my phone on me and I was going to videotape it because that would have went viral. But I was like, I don't want to get my phone out and start recording this lizard dodging these cars, because I know he's going to get hit. And I'm going to feel like shit that all I did was just film getting hit by a car. But he lived. He literally lived. This lizard ran out into the highway, went across 3 lanes of traffic out to the median, turned around and came back, dodging like 40 cars. I thought like 3 different times he got smashed, but he kept going. And he made it all the way back to the sidewalk. True story. So yeah, even lizards, they can think. And I swear to God, that thing knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He was like calculating how fast those cars were coming. And he's literally running underneath freaking cars going 60 miles an hour, and he lived, dodging like 40 cars. So yeah, animals are intelligent creatures. They're sentient creatures and they want to live. And some of them like playing games in traffic and are so good at it, they can do it and live. Guarantee you put a 5-year-old kid in traffic like that lizard, they wouldn't have lived. No, that's not what I'm getting at. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying people think it's okay to abuse and kill animals because they think animals are stupid creatures who don't have souls, that can't think. Mm. Yeah, the soap I use is vegan and it's not tested on animals. Yeah, but most soap is made with like tallow. Like what is it? Ivory soap? Yeah, look at the ingredients. Ivory soap. Sodium tallowate. Tallow is animal fat. So yeah, if you're bathing with like ivory soap, you're literally bathing with animal fat, cleansing your body with animal fat. So yeah, that's, you need to make sure everything you're consuming, not just the food you're consuming, but even the soap, the shampoo, the makeup, is vegan and not tested on animals. Yeah, my lipstick is vegan. Gabriel Organics is vegan and not tested on animals. Bare Minerals, the lipstick is not tested on animals and is vegan. And 100% Pure, the lipstick is vegan and not tested on animals. Yes, I have cats that I have adopted from kill shelters. And yes, you can feed your cat. You cannot make a cat vegan, but you can feed a cat a vegan diet. Yeah, just look at your regular cat food. Look at the ingredients. It's filled with supplements. Those are the same supplements they put in the vegan cat food. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There are thousands of cats being fed a vegan diet, and they're healthy, most of them. Now, there can be issues with, it's like some cats, doesn't matter whether they're being fed a vegan diet or not, but some cats are susceptible to getting like urinary blockages. So you just got to be careful whether you're feeding your cat a vegan diet or a regular diet, that they're going to the bathroom and not having any trouble going to the bathroom. Because especially for male cats, if they get a blockage, that can turn deadly very quick. But that can happen to any cat being fed any kind of diet. But yeah, if your cat is susceptible to urinary blockages, it might be a little more difficult to put them on a plant-based diet. No, they do not need meat. They need nutrients. They don't need meat. They need nutrients. They need vitamins and minerals and protein, which the vegan cat food provides. And again, most cats can do very well on a plant-based diet, as long as that plant-based diet contains all of the necessary nutrients they need. Like the taurine. Taurine is naturally only found in animal flesh, but the supplement taurine is synthetic and it's vegan. And it's the same taurine supplement that they put in the regular cat food that they put in the vegan cat food. Okay, so you want to model your behavior after an alligator. Okay, you're supposed to be a civilized human being. And human beings absolutely have no need at all for animal products. And in fact, the more animal products you consume, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, this right here is a screenshot of an instructional video put out by the pork industry demonstrating the semen collection process. This is standard practice. This isn't just happening in the pork industry. It's also happening in the poultry industry with roosters and in the egg industry with roosters. It's also happening in the beef and dairy industries with bulls happening to fish in the salmon industry, happening to bees in the honey industry. They literally collect the semen from the male animals so that they can force that semen into the female animals. They call it artificial insemination, but artificial insemination is when it's benefiting the person who's being inseminated. You know, this is what happens with humans when they are having difficulty reproducing. So they seek the assistance of a doctor, and they give permission to have that semen put in them so that they can become pregnant, so they can become mothers, because they want to become mothers and they're having trouble. So they get help. And it's for that person being inseminated, for them to get what they want, a baby. And they get to keep their baby. Their baby isn't stolen. Their baby isn't slaughtered and their body parts sold on store shelves. This is not being done to benefit these animals in any way. So this is not artificial insemination. This should be a crime. And this is bestiality, because see, this is a woman, this is a human, this is an animal. She's literally sexually stimulating him until he ejaculates. That is sexual activity. Sexual activity between a human and an animal is bestiality. So if you're Christian, just look at what your Bible says about bestiality and what the punishment should be. So yeah, maybe you did not know this yesterday, but you know it now. So from this point forward, if you continue to consume animal products, you are now a knowing and willing participant in bestiality. Now, I'm going to keep on going over this because consumers need to know the truth. Consumers need to know that this is, in fact, what they are supporting when they consume animal products. Because no decent, rational, civilized person would continue to consume animal products knowing that this is what is involved in producing those products. So yeah, if the fact that these animals' heads are being chopped off, if that's not going to be good enough to get people to go vegan, well, yeah, then I'm going to talk about this. Because this definitely, like, my God, like, it's just weird that I would think most of you understand, I would hope all of you understand that it's wrong to molest a child. But you're literally paying people to molest animals so you can eat their babies. So yeah, you need to, like, let that reality sink in for a few seconds and go vegan. Because you're literally paying people to molest animals so you can eat their babies. That is crazy as fuck. So you can call me crazy all you want. You can call me stupid. You can call me whatever you want. But at least I'm not paying people to sexually abuse animals so, you know, I can eat their babies. At least I'm not that. You know, at least I'm not that crazy. At least I have sense enough to refrain from funding this disgusting industry. Have I always been vegan? Oh boy, I wish I had always been vegan. Unfortunately, growing up, I, like most people, I was not taught better. I did not know better. And I certainly did not know this was happening. Even when I first went vegan, I didn't know this was happening to animals. I went vegan when I was 42, back in 2015. So at 42 years old, I still didn't even know this is the first step in the process of producing animal products. I mean, had I known the truth all along, I would have been vegan all along. But I was not taught better. I did not know better. My parents didn't know about this. They didn't know they were doing this to animals. They didn't know that they were slaughtering pigs at 6 months old. You know, the industry doesn't want the truth getting out to consumers. They rely on consumers remaining in the dark about what they're doing to animals because they know when the truth is exposed, people are going to go vegan. Because it literally makes no sense to not be vegan once you know the truth. But unfortunately, most people don't know the truth. But that's why I'm here. And I keep going over the same thing over and over and over again. Because I know new people come onto this app every day. And look, there's only 63 people watching my live stream right now. There are literally tens of millions of people on this app. Only 63 people are watching my live stream. So there's a lot of people that still need to be reached with the facts. So yeah, I'm going to keep on coming on this app and keep on going over the same thing so that this information gets out to as many people as possible. My shampoo is absolutely vegan. Oh, that hurts. That hurts coming from someone who's literally here defending bestiality. Was I dropped on my head? Well, hey, at least I have sense enough to become vegan once I learned, that animals are being sexually assaulted, that animals are being tortured and killed as babies. Yeah. Tyson has the best practices. They masturbate animals too. They masturbate roosters, in case you don't know. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They masturbate roosters, force them to ejaculate. Take that semen and force it into hens to fertilize their eggs, so those eggs hatch into the broiler chickens they raise for your Tyson chicken. They keep those birds in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds and such filth they have to be given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick. They slaughter those chickens at 6 weeks old when they can actually live over 7 years. It's animal abuse. It's animal abuse. Lions actually have to eat other animals to be healthy. You're nothing like a lion. I mean, do you really get the urge to pounce on a pig when you get hungry? Like a lion would. A lion would get hungry and, they would see a pig and actually get the urge to pounce on that pig. Actually get the urge to kill and eat that pig. Do you? Do you get the urge to kill animals when you get hungry? Do you get the urge to pounce on a pig, to pounce on a cow when you get hungry? You're nothing like a lion, and you're supposed to be a civilized human being. So I don't know why you want to model your behavior after wild animals, especially, the most vicious wild animals. Yeah, hunting should be illegal. It's no different than serial killing. It's no different than serial killing. You're just killing another type of species. So you're a speciesist. Oh, it's okay to kill a deer because a deer isn't a human. Should we be, hunting dogs? Should we be hunting cats? Should we be hunting koala bears? Should we be hunting panda bears? You're a speciesist. Speciesism is the root of all forms of discrimination. Yeah, I would never do that to an animal. See, the only reason I'm showing you this is because how is this ever going to stop if people don't even know that it's happening? People are literally mindlessly consuming animal products, never thinking at all about how those products are really being produced. Most people go into the grocery store and they just load up their grocery carts with animal body parts and animal secretions, and they never think twice about what that food really is, let alone how that food is actually being produced. And I really think that if most people knew that this was actually the first step in producing all animal products. Because again, this isn't just happening to pigs in the pork industry. It's also happening to roosters in the poultry and egg industry. It's also happening to bulls in the dairy and beef industry. It's also happening to fish in the salmon industry, to bees in the honey industry. Yes, they literally sexually abuse animals to force them to reproduce. I don't think anybody in their right mind would continue to consume animal products knowing that they're literally funding bestiality, knowing that every time they hand their money over to purchase an animal product, that they're literally handing their money over to an industry that pays people to sexually abuse animals. Like, okay, I hope you all understand Jeffrey Epstein was a horrible person, but you're not too much different than Jeffrey Epstein. You're literally paying people to molest animals all day, every day, for every single non-vegan product you consume. Also, you can eat their slaughtered babies. And in the case of dairy products, you know, they masturbate bulls, shove their semen into the vaginas of unconsenting dairy cows to impregnate them so they will start to lactate. And then they steal their babies from them as soon as they're born, slaughter the babies so you can consume their stolen baby food. It's just crazy. Just crazy, 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 crazy. I mean, I just wish people would wake up and realize this industry is evil, pure evil. And the products this disgusting, filthy industry is selling you isn't even good for your own health. It's not vegans dropping dead by the thousands prematurely each day from heart attacks and strokes and kidney disease and cancer. It's not vegans causing pandemics like bird flu, swine flu, COVID. And again, there are 1 billion people, thanks for the roses. There are 1 billion people right now, 1 billion people starving because food they could be eating is being used to fatten livestock. So privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. Yeah, there are tens of billions of animals being raised for their flesh and secretions right now, while 1 billion people starve. They're literally harvesting crops to feed the tens of billions of animals needed to keep up with privileged people's demand for animal flesh and animal secretions, while 1 billion people starve to death. Yeah, I am privileged, but I'm not abusing my privilege and having innocent beings executed over my food preferences, even though I could have innocent creatures executed over my food preferences. I'm a decent enough person to say, yeah, my food preferences, that's not a justification for executing someone. Nobody should be executed over my food preferences, especially when plant-based foods are actually better for your own health. No, I do not wear leather. I actually stopped wearing leather probably about 10 years before I went vegan. See, because this is how brainwashed I was to thinking that I had to consume animal products to be healthy. Yeah, once I realized like leather is like actual like skin of animals and I don't have to wear leather. Like, yeah, it's kind of creepy. I don't want to like put the skin. I mean, come on, that's like, you know, fucking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, like you're like a fucking real life monster clothing yourself in the flesh of someone else. That's really crazy when you really think about it. Really crazy when you really think about it. I mean, if you understand somebody walking around in a jacket made with human skin would be crazy as fuck. Yeah, if you, oh, that leather, oh, that's a nice leather jacket. What kind of leather is that? And they were like, oh, this is human skin. And I'd be like, what the, oh my God, is that freaky as fuck? Oh, no, it's just cow skin. Yeah, don't worry, it's just cow skin. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's a nice jacket. I should get one too. I love animals though, but yeah, I'm going to get myself a leather jacket. Yeah, okay. No, I'm a vegan. Yeah, vegetarians still support animal abuse. Vegetarians still support animal abuse. The egg industry and the dairy industry are just as cruel as the meat industry, if not more cruel. At the hatcheries where all egg-laying hens come from, they cannot determine the sex of the chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they grind them up alive because they're males. The egg industry has no use for the male chicks because they'll never be able to lay eggs. And they are not the same breed used for meat. That breed of bird does not grow quick enough or big enough to be profitable for meat. So they're killed as soon as they hatch. And those egg-laying hens are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable. In nature, a hen would only lay like 1 to 2 dozen eggs per year. But in the egg industry, she's forced to produce 10 times more eggs than is natural. That puts an enormous amount of stress on her body, causing all kinds of health issues. So by the time she's just 1.5 years old, she can no longer produce that amount of eggs. So she's no longer profitable to the egg industry. So they send her off to be slaughtered for pet food or for chicken soup. And then they replace her with a younger, more productive hen. And in the dairy industry, in case you don't know, dairy cows actually produce milk because they're mothers. Those dairy cows produce milk because they are mothers, not because they are dairy cows. It is not an automatic thing like most people think. Oh, they're dairy cows. That's just what they do. They produce milk. Nope, that's a lie. Those dairy cows do not automatically produce milk. They produce milk because they're mothers. They're forcibly impregnated. Like in the dairy industry, they're doing the same thing as the pork industry. They literally take the bulls, masturbate them until they ejaculate, force their semen into the vaginas of those unconsenting dairy cows to get them pregnant so that they will start to lactate. Then once they give birth, their babies are taken within hours so that that mother and baby do not bond with one another. So when that dairy farmer sends off that calf, if that calf is a boy, because they don't have any use for the boys. So within a few days of those male calves being born, they sell them off to the veal industry or the beef industry. And they don't want that mother to get depressed when her baby's taken from her. And then she stops eating, then her milk production plummets. So they take that baby off of that dairy cow right away so that they do not bond with one another. So when they go to sell that male calf off to the veal or beef industry, that mother hasn't bonded with that baby. And they also take the newborn calves off the dairy cows because, hey, that baby's gonna, if they leave that baby with the mother, that baby's gonna suck up that dairy farmer's profits. Because that cow's milk, which is by God food for the baby cow, no, that's not what the dairy industry thinks. They think that shit's for them to sell for profit to you fools who think, cow's milk is for grown-ass humans. No, it's for baby cows. Baby cows are stolen. They're killed if they're boys, so you can consume their stolen baby food. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, come on. The world should be vegan by now. It's just crazy that there's still so many people that are not vegan. Yeah, it's stolen baby food. Dairy products. Stolen baby food. Oh, of course you don't care when you're the one in the industry of farming animals for their flesh and secretions. Of course the victimizers don't care about their victims. But people who are not victimizers, people who are not animal abusers, they do care and they will go vegan when they realize the truth. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, this is the first step in producing animal products. And since most people are not vegan, This information needs to get out to people. Really does. People need to know what they're funding. People need to know why they need to go vegan and why they need to go vegan right now. Because, yeah, if you're not vegan, you're literally funding bestiality. You're literally funding the sexual abuse of animals. This is what they call semen collection for that so-called artificial insemination process, which is standard practice in the animal agriculture industry. That is how they get those animals to reproduce. Like every day I hear people say, oh, but animals, they're bred to be food. Animals are bred for meat. I mean, that's what they're bred for. They're bred for food. Well, this is that breeding process. The breeding process. This is the breeding process. Those animals are not mating naturally in the animal agriculture industry. They're not mating naturally. This is standard practice. How do you think they get the semen for that so-called artificial insemination process? They literally masturbate the male animals. So they're masturbating pigs in the pork industry. They're masturbating roosters in the poultry and in the egg industries. They're masturbating the bulls in the beef and dairy industries. They're masturbating fish in the salmon industry. They're masturbating bees in the honey industry to collect their semen, to force that semen into the female animals to get them to reproduce. If you were to force semen into a woman's vagina without her consent, I seriously doubt you would call that artificial insemination. That would be a crime of rape. Yeah, so for every single non-vegan product you consume, you're supporting and funding acts that would be the acts of rape, kidnapping, theft, and murder if those same acts were being committed against humans. And it's really disturbing that people are like, oh, but they're not humans. So perfectly fine to do things to these animals that would actually be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and murder if done to us. No, that's why the world's so fucked up. That way of thinking is why the world is so totally fucked up. Like when you think it's actually okay to commit crimes against animals, to commit acts against animals that should be crimes because they would be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and murder if committed against humans. Yeah, it's no wonder why, there are so many injustices committed against other people. Why there's racism all over the place. When there's species, when just about every single human being on this planet is a speciesist. Yeah, it's no surprise that so many people are racists. So many people are homophobic. When they think they can do such awful things to these animals just because they're not human. Just because they're not human, they think they could do such awful, heinous things to these animals. Yeah, then it's really no surprise, the things that they're capable of doing against other humans. Just because, they're a different race or a different nationality or different religion or a different sex. No, there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate. This is not debatable. This is not debatable. We cannot debate whether it's okay, to sexually abuse an animal. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. No, you're off your rocker if you think there's something to debate about this. Nothing to debate. This should be illegal. This should be illegal. This is bestiality and this is sexual abuse. You shouldn't be touching anybody's penis without their consent. You shouldn't be shoving semen into anybody's vagina without their consent. These animals are not giving their consent. And don't even say, but they can't give consent. That right there says, leave them the fuck alone. But again, even if this animal could consent, which he certainly wouldn't consent if he knew why you were doing this to him, to kill his babies so you can eat his babies. Yeah, so if he was capable of comprehending why this was being done to him, he would not consent. But let's just say he did consent. This is still bestiality. Still bestiality. That's a human, that's an animal. She's sexually stimulating him. That is sexual relations between a human and an animal. That is bestiality. Isn't it? Isn't it, Pip? Isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. It's bad. So yeah, you need to go vegan. You need to go vegan now, because if you're not vegan, you're literally funding animal abuse. And I'm going to keep on going over this and keep on going over this, because people need to know that this is happening so that it can stop. Because people are going to continue to consume animal products if they continue to not think about how these products are actually being produced. Well, my cat isn't vegan. You cannot make a cat vegan. But yes, you can feed them a vegan diet. He's fed AmiCat. And it contains all the necessary nutrients they need to be healthy. Yeah, so you should pay a visit to your local animal shelter and adopt. Never shop. Never, ever, ever shop. Not while thousands of animals are being executed in animal shelters each day. How am I losing this argument? How am I losing this argument? Please tell me. Are you literally saying that it's okay to sexually abuse animals? Really? Are you telling me that it's okay to sexually abuse animals? Because you're like, oh, I'm losing this argument. How am I losing this argument? Yes, you're saying yes, it's okay to sexually abuse animals? Okay, that's freaky. That is freaky. Yeah, cats have emotions. Pigs have emotions. Just like we do. Yeah, I think what you're having difficulty understanding is that humans are actually animals. Do you realize that? Do you even realize that humans are animals? And that we are very similar in all the ways that matter. We all have personalities, we all have emotions, we all have likes and dislikes, we all want to be free from harm. Well, that's just bizarre. That's just bizarre. You don't have a problem killing a plant? Says the person who has no problem paying people to sexually abuse animals so that they can, massacre their babies. Babies who actually have brains and emotions and personalities, unlike plants, which I guess maybe that's why you can relate to plants. Because they don't have a brain, and they don't have a personality, and they don't have emotions. It's called a job. Yeah, and so, these people in the sex trafficking industry, oh, it's just a job. It's how I make my living, so it's okay. I kill animals all the time. I kill animals all the time. Yeah, people who harm animals rarely stop there, especially those who brag about it. I don't own a cat. He was rescued from a kill shelter. So you think the cat should have been executed instead? You think that would have been better? Really? I mean, put yourself in the place of these animals at these kill shelters. Imagine that you're the one who's about to be executed because nobody came and adopted you. Yeah, plant lives matter. That is an argument for veganism. Like, that's just so pathetic. You can't comprehend that fact. That if you actually care about plants, you need to be vegan. Because a lot more plants are being killed to fatten livestock. So you can eat animal flesh and animal secretions. A lot more animals are being killed. Or a lot more plants are being killed. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So yeah, think about what that means for plants. As an acre of land is cleared every single second of every single day, and it's mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. Yes, my lipstick is absolutely vegan. Bare Minerals, 100% pure. And Gabriel Organics. That's what I use, and they're all vegan and not tested on animals. No, most animals don't eat other animals. Panda bears, koala bears, elephants, rhinos, gorillas, horses, elk, rabbits. They're all herbivores. Oh my God. Well, some humans eat their own kids. Yeah. I'm not talking about opinions here. I'm literally stating facts. Like, this is a fact. They sexually abuse animals to force them to reproduce. Well, I hope when you say you slept with a pig, you just slept with him as in falling asleep and not like sexually doing something to that pig, because that's just creepy. Yeah, if you are so concerned about cats, go to your local animal shelter and adopt a cat. Every day, thousands of cats and dogs are executed at animal shelters. Yes, so I'm all for adopting animals. Adopt, don't shop. And yeah, there is such a thing as vegan cat food, and it's actually been around for decades. Yes, my clothes and hair care products are vegan. I do not wear leather. I do not buy any products that contain any animal ingredients or are tested on animals. I stay away from all animal products and anything that was tested on an animal. Well, obviously you haven't read the studies. You haven't read the studies on the vegan cat food, because if you did, you'd understand that there are thousands of cats being fed a vegan diet, and they're doing very well. They're doing just as good as any other cat, because that vegan cat food contains all the nutrients they need, even the taurine. Because the supplement taurine is synthetic and it's vegan, and it's the same taurine supplement that they put in the regular pet food, the regular cat food, that they put in the vegan cat food. Yeah, make sure the perfume you're using is vegan and not tested on animals. Yes, vegan perfume. There is such a thing. It doesn't contain animal byproducts and is not tested on animals. Yeah, most perfume is toxic. Most perfume and most cologne is toxic. Especially like if you ever been around somebody who had perfume or cologne on and you started getting a headache, or you started feeling nauseous from smelling it, it's because they put all kind of nasty, dangerous chemicals in that shit. And typically, like if you go to the Environmental Working Group's webpage, go to their database, put in any product you can find, like look up shampoo, and you can put it in order by the least toxic, shampoos that aren't toxic at all. Yeah, turns out that the products that aren't toxic or have the least toxicity are typically the vegan products that are not tested on animals. The toxic products are typically the non-vegan products that are tested on animals. Well, you refuse to understand that you are an animal. You are an animal. Humans are animals. Yes, animals are very much like humans in all the ways that matter. They all have likes and dislikes. They all want to be free from harm and pain and suffering. They all have favorite foods they like. They have personalities just like humans. Some are silly, some are goofy, some are shy, some are bitchy, some are mean, just because they can't speak our language. No, I'm not Christian. But good does exist, and unfortunately evil does exist, and I am vegan because I am against evil. Most animals do not eat other animals. Most land animals, anyway. Most land animals are herbivores. Panda bears, koala bears, zebras, giraffes, hippos, rhinos, elephants, horses. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off. So give me a follow if you have... No, what's... Okay, so you're literally here saying, oh, the vegan community is so toxic. Like, I don't want to be vegan. I just want to continue supporting animal abusers, because vegans, guess what? You can go vegan and you don't have to be friends with any vegan, okay? You can be vegan and you don't have to be friends with other vegans. If you don't like vegans, you don't have to be friends with us, but you should be vegan yourself, because what it is to be vegan, all that means is that you refrain from abusing animals and that you refrain from paying other people to abuse animals on your behalf. So you hate vegans because we don't abuse animals? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I buy most of my clothes secondhand. And yeah, I would recommend that everybody shop secondhand for their clothes. But yeah, I stick with cotton. No matter what it is, I stick with cotton. And I try to stick with the organic cotton. Okay, well, it's 100% guaranteed that if you're consuming animal products, those animal products came from bestiality. Those animal products came from sexually abusing animals. That's 100% guaranteed. So I don't know why you're so concerned about where my clothes come from, especially, you know, if most of my clothes I'm buying are like bought secondhand. But yeah, my clothes are cotton. I might not know the exact facility my clothes were produced in, but it doesn't matter because it is, you know, if you want to go where like, oh, there was probably child slaves that made your clothes. Well, yeah, I guarantee your clothes are more likely have come from a facility that has child labor. You know, and here you are literally supporting the sexual abuse of animals. Those animals are literally having their heads chopped off for you to eat their body parts. And even for dairy products, even for eggs, animals are being killed intentionally. But it's funny you want to like, you know, change the subject to like, oh, your clothes. Well, it's not a requirement to kill somebody over clothes or to exploit somebody. And if, you know, the clothes that you're buying, if they're coming from child labor, slave labor, it's not vegans. It's not vegan.